Guys, today's topic is all about self control and how one can be under good self controlling. So, what do you mean exactly by self control? Now, self control means it is one's ability to control his or her emotions, feelings, and behaviors in order to achieve a particular long task. And this self control is majorly controlled by the prefrontal cortex of the brain, and this is one of the major reasons for human beings to get differentiated from the animal kingdom. And also this self-controlling mechanism is the one which helps us to think rationally, plan and make decisions according to the situations. And that is, like I said, that is one of the reasons why we are different from the animals. So it is always important for one to be under a good self-controlling mechanism. So you can ask me, what are the things that I should be doing in order to have a good self-controlling mechanism? The first is to meditate. It's always important to meditate so that you are in this constant calm motion. And second is delay gratification. What is gratification? For starters, gratification means it is the feeling that you would get when you achieve something that you desired for a long time. For example, I want to eat a donut today. Okay? Now, the feeling that I would get when I eat the donut, but I'm not actually eating it, I'm putting it to tomorrow so that by tomorrow I would get 2 donuts. So I'm actually delaying the gratification. And third is measure your progress. See, when you're doing a particular task, it's always important to measure the progress rather than the failures. Okay? And avoid temptations. See, if you are planning to do something, okay, or if you are planning to lose weight, now avoid the things that will tempt you to contradict that particular action. Okay, these are the things that is important for one to have a good self-controlling mechanism. Now, what is the major there are multiple crime stories or horrific stories that is currently happening in our world and in our country. Now, who do you think is responsible for executing these things, or who is actually responsible for it, and what is the element that is responsible for it? You for sure know that it is not done by some ghosts or anything, right? Now, it is done by humans. Of course, all these raping, brutally killing, hurting someone, all these things are done by human beings. Now, what is that triggering point that makes the human being to do something? Are you aware of the fact called impulse reaction? Are you aware of that? What is an impulse? Impulse is something, it's like a sudden urge to do something because I desire. It's a sudden urge to do something because I desire, irrespective of thinking about the consequence. That is called impulse reaction. And every human being is subjected to a particular impulse reaction, and every human being has a particular triggering point for reacting to the particular impulse reaction. For example, me as a human being, I will get easily offended or easily frustrated if someone is talking so low about me in front of a huge crowd. Now, in such type of situations, I can handle it in 2 ways. The first way is to shout at that person equally and insult him in front of others. And second is to stay calm, put a pause button there, a pause button to my action, and think about it. Think about it. You give a space between the event and how you are going to respond to it. And so these are the 2 situations in which how you can respond to the particular impulse reaction. Now, the first way is definitely not going to bring any pleasure to me and to the other person, so chuck it. Don't do that. But the second is you're giving a break. Okay? Now, I am not a reactive person, which tells me that I'm not a reactive person, but I'm a proactive person, right? So, how can you control your response to impulse reactions? First is to meditate so that you are in this calm state of mind. Now, second is to analyze your triggers. See, every human being, like I said, will have multiple triggering points. So, analyze them. Okay, analyze them and control yourself or your words or your actions in such type of situations. And third is to measure your progress. Again, the same thing that is used in the self-controlling aspect is also comes under this impulse reaction. Okay, and generally over analysis, people who tend to ask the question why are subjected to react better or respond better to these impulse reactions when compared to the people who generally ask the question how. Okay, so yes, so these are the things that should be followed by a particular person in order to properly respond to the impulse reaction. See, if something is triggering you right at the moment, ask yourself if that particular action is actually appropriate. Just because you feel that you are irritated or frustrated, or you want to kill that person, you want to hurt that person, but check yourself or ask yourself, is it actually necessary? And always think about the consequence. Put a pause button, think about the consequence. Now if I am, let's say I'm doing this action, and if am I actually going to get a benefit from it? You will definitely not get a benefit, because you're actually hurting others. So the only mantra that you should be following is stop right there. It's just an impulse that is running in your head, and you can actually control it. Okay, so these are the key points for controlling impulse reactions. There is also third aspect that comes into this picture, which is called the superiority complex. Now, superiority complex means it is the concept of having power over others, or having superior over others, and you get pleasure out of it. People who tend to have a high superiority complex will generally be subjected to having higher self-worth, and they will never appreciate others. The criticism will be more, and generally as humans we always like power over others, right? Even if it's bad hearing it out, it is the truth. We always love having power over others, and that should be reduced. Okay, and see, if someone is doing new and someone is actually putting themselves out there, it is easily to criticize, guys. It is easily to put someone down, but it is very difficult to appreciate that person. It is very difficult to talk good about that person. So don't be superior over others, because it is not going to gain anything to you. So be calm and be polite to others, be humble to others, and I have a particular task for you. Analyze at least one good quality that you find in each of the people that you're related to. Okay, now these are the things that you can follow in order to overcome this superiority complex. So this impulse reaction, this self-controlling, and superiority complex, these are the major reasons for multiple horrific crime stories that are actually happening in the world. These are the brutally killing or raping people, or destroying someone. These are actually the results of these three elements that I am talking about. So if you are controlling these three aspects, I think the most of these horrific crime stories can actually come down. Okay, and also as a person, you'd be better and good. So why am I talking about all these things? At the end of the day, we are all humans. Okay, it is one's responsibility to just not stay as human beings, but you have to stay as good human beings, right? See, if you ask me, you can be poor, you can be rich, you might not be educated, you might be dumb, or you might be brainy, you might be having the brain of Albert Einstein. None of these things matter when it comes to one single aspect. Are you a good person or not? Are you thinking about other people or not? Are you thinking about your actions that might hurt others or not? These are the aspects that you should be looking into as a human being. You should not just stay as human beings. You should not be greedy. You should not be selfish. Be as good human beings, because that is the necessary element that world needs right now. Okay, stay as good human beings. Let's reduce the amount of bad things that is actually happening around the world. Now, if we change others, I think eventually all these things can come to one check. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about, because some I don't want to quote certain incidents that is currently happening, but I think these are the major contributions to such horrific stories. So I hope that you would follow these things and make yourself better. Have a great day, guys.